been a while, huh? Today I want to talk about my incredibly cheap and minimalist helmet setup and instruct you on how you can do it yourself. Before anything, I know that since my video exploded, the PNV10T is nowhere to be found. Maybe I had a small impact on the market, I don't know. But if you ever find it on Facebook, this video is somewhat of a conclusion on my previous review, as I have a lot more experience with it now. My total helmet build cost me less than $1,250, but I'm sure you can save a little bit when it comes to the helmet. The base itself is a standard ProTech with a Water Ace cut. It was originally navy blue, but after removing the pretty bad internals, I painted the whole thing Ranger Green for maximum efficiency. Don't get me wrong, the chin strap and internal pads are okay for stuff like biking, hiking, or skating, but as soon as you put weight on that thing, it becomes unusable really quick. You can find the helmet and others like this one on the used market for less than $30. I got mine for 10 bucks shipped. After drilling a couple holes for the retention system, I realized that the curvature of the front of the helmet worked perfectly with any 3-hole NVG shroud on the market. The one I'm using specifically is an obscure replica that you can find for less than $20 on AliExpress, even though mine came from a complete bum helmet clone. I also used the pads and the OCC dial retention system of the fake SF before replacing it with a replica Team 1D cam fit, because the thing didn't click into place. Again, the second you add weight, a shitty suspension system is going to ruin your night vision experience, especially for running bios like me. More on that later. You can get all these parts, helmet included, for less than $100, but remember that I paid more overall because of all the trials and errors. I love ProTech. These helmets are bump-proof and durable, plus they don't look like your standard tactical helmet, and that can be useful in some situations. They were used for quite a while by Navy SEALs during the VBSS training, more on that in a future project, and are still issued to a lot of military personnel all around the world. Let's talk about the accessories, starting with this Gen 2 NVG counterweight made by this American company called Explosive Ops Gear, or EOG. It weighs about a pound, but this isn't heavy enough to counterbalance my nods. Again, more on that later. So I'm also using this ACR Electronics MS2000 for a total of 20 ounces. The Velcro stickers I'm using that hold my cringy morale patches can be easily found on Amazon for cheap, and the quality is mediocre. I might upgrade to better Velcro in the future. The mount I'm using is a Sodak replica of the Wilcox L4G24. You really thought I was using a real one for an obsolete Russian night vision device? Actually, let's talk about that device. It is still blemless and outrageously heavy at about 27 ounces, which is literally pano weight. This is a huge problem with something like a bump helmet, even with the greatest retention system on the planet. Especially when the night vision device in question belongs to a category of nods notable for having terrible eye relief. Speaking of eye relief, any intense movement like running or just looking up too fast will result in the image drastically shifting. If you're not used to that like I am, this can cause headaches. By the way, I'm sorry for the lack of mounted night vision in this video. I can own all the things in this video, but putting it together can be considered as a weapon of war by a certain group of people that probably don't want me or any other citizen except veterans and armorers to be able to train with night vision. Strange. I wonder why. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the eye relief. I would say that this device is better for low intensity hiking or stationary use that wouldn't require much movement, if not any movement at all. Now let's talk about the mounting interface. I kind of feel bad because I said in my previous video on the PNV10T that its mounting footprint is the same as the PN14K, and I was seriously wrong. I realized this when I got my own PN14K adapter and figured that it was just a paperweight if you didn't own one. I'm really sorry for some of you guys that bought one of these because of my stupid ass. I mean that. After a bit of research, just before I lost all hope, I found an open source file for the dovetail adapter, link in the description. I couldn't print it myself, but one of the members of my Discord was cool enough to send me one free of charge. Thank you, Salty. If you want to help me in my constant borderline illegal shenanigans, you can join my Discord and get in touch with me. If not, you can just donate on my Patreon. That also helps a lot. That's of course if you can. My 3D printed adapter looks somewhat durable. I had to find an N4 bolt, as N5 bolts are hard to find with 10mm long threads. It slides a bit, but still works well after a bit of shimming, you know, for it to click into place. I really need to get some sort of lanyard to secure my night vision, because just a couple of days ago, I dropped it by pressing the release button on my mount. The impact was so brutal that it cracked the original lens cover. Ultimately, the tube is fine, once again proving that this device is an absolute tank. There is also another 3D printed adapter that clips onto the front of the device, but I don't know about that one. So, to conclude, I really love my helmet. It is comfortable, looks really cool to any people that are into military history and surplus. Plus, it looks like any other biking helmet for people that aren't really familiar to this side of the internet. The only gripe I have about it right now is that the screws that are holding the retention system in place are poking out the inside of the shell. This can be pretty dangerous if I bump my head too hard, and to be honest, I don't want screws to pierce my skull, so I might change them for shorter ones in the future if I ever find some. Quick note on the frog pouch. I realized that some of you really like that design and would be down to buy one. Because of that, I will make about 10 of these in a few months and sell them via link on my Discord. Get in there if you're interested. There we go. This was the long-awaited conclusion on my quirky night vision setup that some of you kept reminding me of. I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. I was seriously busy because of work and my studies and because of life in general. This video was partially filmed in Switzerland, as you can see, and specifically at the Swissgun Center in Geneva. They have a really cool venue with 3 individual rooms that you can rent for your own training and fun. If you live in the EU, and especially if you have a lot of money, I highly recommend that you give them a visit. There should be a small video coming next month, but don't worry, I have bigger projects planned out. See you soon!